gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. It ain't easy to be awake, make no mistake. In the bad situation, world filled with hate. Globalists got their plans trying to seal our fate. Gotta get ready now, no time to wait. You try to open up the eyes of your wife or lady. Brothers and sisters all look at you crazy. Tell all their friends that your mind is hazy. Look for themselves, now they just too lazy. Just fat sheep are being led to slaughter. Do whatever they told, they like following orders. Whole bunch of sheep being drowned in the water. Amnesty laws to erase all borders. Documented proof shows you the real story. Distracted by the TV, you love watching Maury. Don't wanna hear truth, you say it ain't for me. Watch America go down in her glory. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. I'm tired of looking in your eyes, trying to tell you the real. Only few in the world know just how I feel. I stand on the tower trying to sound alarms, trying to help everybody keep them off of harm. All I get is I'm corny and that I ain't cool. Called a nut job a head case and I'm ridiculed. Deprogram my kids when they home from school. Keep their mind right and pray that they don't get fooled. Yo, it's all out warfare, mind manipulation. Radio programs, turn off the station, turn off the TV, get education. Break from the altar state, brain meditation. Say you don't believe me, but that don't hurt. All I ask is that you go and do your own research. Don't believe everything that you hear, you think first. Get your mind right so we can go and do some work. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. We got those that's living in fear with no vision. The sleepwalkers scared to make tough decisions. Some in denial of the globalist mission. Pagan worshippers, they call themselves Christians. Paul's in the whole game, they all wanna follow world leaders who speak with words they all hollow. Truth about the world is too hard to swallow. Consumers at banks ready to borrow. Some of us raised with the cattle mentality. Closed-minded people, false reality. Pulled over eyes and blindfolded tightly. No clue ever what the real world might be. Scared to take a peek now, you don't wanna look at the issues cause they just might get you shook. Keep on living, hide your face in a book. Frog in a pot of cold water gets cooked. Yo, haha, I ain't asking you to believe nothing I say. I ain't even asking you to believe nothing that I show you. All I want you to do is do the research for yourself. And then you make your own decision. Stop being led like sheep. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen. How you gonna feel with no pot to piss in? No freedoms and no food in the kitchen. Think about all of the things you'll be missing. All of this because you don't wanna listen.
Today is your last day, ninja!
Maybe not.
It's the Red Mask Ninjas, wars we throw slicing, scream bloody murder, red moon rising, attack of the killer bees, swarm devastating, fear running wild from the songs that I'm making, no feedback from the cats that be hating, taking souls down to hell, half son of Satan, bringer of the true light, legend of the seeker, last true warrior, ancient soul keeper, one and only ultimate brain decapitator, kill in the moment, ask questions later, no remorse for the MCs that I'm slaying, the fake rappers are the ones who are paying. Millions come out here to see my recital. On the edge of you see, words very vital. Dictator, tyrant, man of many titles. Bow down and worship, the one and only idol like that.
Assassinator, the flying Russian. Words flow flawlessly over percussion. No fake MCs allowed in this cipher. Only #1 big scene by Mel Kiper. You can scream loud, but it don't mean you're hyper. Shots be on point like the DC sniper. You better wake up, smell coffee, clear your head. 5 more minutes and you might be dead. Many fake MCs, they cling silver tongue. Black mask enters, and now they neck wrong. Invincible warrior, what I become. Garbage out your mouth, smell just like cow dung. Unconscious rappers, they need to be hung. Ninja fist, brush the lips, now your mouth numb. Rulers of the world got us feeding on crumbs. Modern day slavery, bottom fish scum.
First thing we do, we plan a false flag attack. Sit back and watch how the blind sheep react. They scream for help, we say we got your back. Make up corrupt laws, the Patriot Act. First thing we do, we plan a false flag attack. Sit back and watch how the blind sheep react. They scream for help, we say we got your back. Make up corrupt laws, the Patriot Act.
It's the brown mask ninja, psychotic killer, underground dweller, fear instiller, mass media, soul cleansing devil, true law breaker, government rebel, mad mass maniacs breaking in your door when the president signs off for Rex 84. Turmoil, chaos, I don't want no more. Beast on the 7 hills, Babylon whore. Time we wake up, even up the score. Pick around the corners with guns ready for war. Sleepwalking people, the rich and the poor, too oblivious to realize what we fight for. You wanna run down and get baked at the shore. Men plot behind your back, evil at the core. Attack of Illuminati wild like a boar. Words sting like salt that's in the mouth sore. Yo, only speak real truth, there's no way to fake this. Living in a world similar to the Matrix. Chains on your mind, come on, you gotta break this. Way that you're thinking, it's time for awakeness. One way out, man, so we gotta take it. Fight till the end, cause we all gotta make it. The truth is the truth, some of y'all might hate it. Or don't wanna hear it, be blind and debate it.
Hear no, see no, speak no evil. Live dangerously like evil Knievel. Deaf, dumb, and blind, man, you're nothing but sheeple. Being led by your nose through the upheaval. Gears keep turning like pop goes the weasel. Media spread the lies just like the measles. All gassed up like an 18-wheel diesel. New world order plans written on an easel.
First thing we do, we plan a false flag attack. Sit back and watch how the blind sheep react. They scream for help, we say we got your back. Make up corrupt laws, the Patriot Act. First thing we do, we plan a false flag attack. Sit back and watch how the blind sheep react. They scream for help, we say we got your back. Make up corrupt laws, the Patriot Act.
right, here we are. We were just here Thursday, but welcome back. If you were here Tuesday, if you weren't here Tuesday, welcome. Hi, Shawn.
Yo, what's going on?
I was just going to say that, but I was going to say what's happening.
Oh, you was going to say what's going on?
I was going to say what's happening.
What's going down?
What's happening around
What's the
here?
word? Oh, it ain't nothing, you know. I'm just being what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Amazing Audits is here and brought a bunch of love, and I'm wondering if Amazing Audits posts First Amendment or constitutional audits on your channel, because if so, big shout out. People need to go follow that channel, but go follow anyway. Why not?
That's right.
So, anything going on since Tuesday?
I think not.
Okay, well,
I can't think of anything.
Just so everyone knows, we worked on the lighting, and Shawn is just going to be in the dark today.
I am Dark Man.
He cannot fix it. We tried.
I fix it not.
Amazing Audits says, yes, that's what I do. So, yeah, go follow that channel. Everybody, go follow Amazing Audits, because anyone who is going out there and standing up for our rights, yours and mine, by doing that, I think that's amazing. I try to do it a little bit, but it scares my one daughter, so if she's around, I can't do it. She freaks out. She doesn't like it when I talk to police officers or really anyone in a certain way. She gets a little freaked out when I have that kind of stern voice thing, like when I say, am I being detained?
That's funny. Am I being detained? Are you not entertained? You should say that.
Yeah. Have I
not entertained?
Have I committed a crime? Do you have articulable suspicion that I have committed a crime? I will not show you my license.
I don't think you picked up what I put down.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Are you not entertained?
Excuse me, officer.
That's from what movie is that from?
Not Spartacus, but it's something like that.
Gladiator.
Are
you not entertained?
Thank you for sharing on Facebook, Amazing Audits. We appreciate that. So yeah, anyone who does audits, First Amendment or constitutional, follow those people if you can and give them a shout out, because they really truly are modern day heroes, man. And I mean that, because a lot of people aren't standing up for our rights. And I've been talking about this, that we should be sovereign people, human beings, not citizens. And police think they have special rights. And so, yeah, you are dismissed. That's our line. Yes. I got to tell the police that. Go do your job, sir. You're dismissed. Go ahead. Go on. And I get, sometimes I get opportunities when they are parked, in spots that they're not supposed to be parked in. They'll pull up to some place and they'll be in a spot that says no parking. So it's always a good opportunity to say, excuse me, sir, you're in a no parking zone. Don't know if you realized.
And you're not doing anything wrong.
No.
By doing
No.
Not doing anything wrong. You're just doing what they would do to you, and you're not doing it in spite of that. You're doing it because that's the law. That's the laws that they made, so they have to follow the laws that they make the same way we do.
They don't know that. They don't even know their own laws. We could get into that, but anyway, yeah, it's a whole nother deal. What we are going to get into, though, is some topics for today, and I know that a lot of people have heard some of these topics. So we're not probably going to spend too much time, but we'll just give some. I'm just reading the title. Muted myself, but anyway, I was just reading the title. You can see Fauci's NIH admits to cutting beagle puppies' vocal cords to shut them up as they were slowly eaten alive by sandflies. And what I wanted to say is that the first thing I want to say about this is that, do you remember when it came out? Forget the fact that he's killed people with his trials of a certain medication that if I say will get taken down. Forget that. But what about when it came out that he was taking aborted fetuses' scalps and putting them on mice? How come we didn't get this kind of thing?
How come there was no outrage there? And how come there's no outrage? I mean, there's outrage. People are angry that he was killing puppies. What about killing babies, period? How about abortion? Where's the outrage for that? Where's the outrage for almost 60 million abortions? Where's that outrage?
And doing these grotesque studies. Now, I know there are people that were grossed out by it. Absolutely. But but whatever. What did I say earlier? I guess whatever it takes Beagles before people get upset, and it is gross. I mean, it's really disturbing to even see photos of them and hearing that they're drugged and that they cut their vocal cords.
But I have to go back to the abortion thing and how they say they almost have it to where you can get an abortion up to 9 months. And somebody was pushing to have abortions at 2 years old. That was being pushed in New York. Where is the outcry for that? We sit up here and we cry over puppies and, and animals being killed and almost extinct. But what about humans? Oh, they're not human unless they're, I can't. Because then they also say, anybody that believes that there's actual planets out there, they'll say that they look for life on Mars, which in water they can find. How is that life and not a baby in the womb?
And let it be noted that you're not going to find life on Mars because they can't get out there anyway, because space
you're not going
to
find Mars.
Space be fake.
Yes, you are not going to find Mars. It's not something you can land on. And it's not a planet.
You can't drive your Tesla there.
Although we have seen that.
Well, if you saw it on TV, it probably happened.
It probably happened. That means it's real. Just like those that saw some buildings fall down from some planes that hit it. They saw that on TV, live, but recorded. You didn't see it live.
Nope.
Anyway.
No. Okay. Yeah. So then you would think that this man might be fired, but of course he probably won't be. The Q people think that this is all part of Trump's plan, and they say, oh, he made it illegal or something, or a federal crime or a felony to hurt animals. And so now those Q people think, oh, it's just all part of the plan. But their Newsweek, which is mainstream media, so this is the interesting thing, is mainstream media is talking about this. So that's what's different. And they say firing Dr. Fauci may now help Brandon manage the next COVID wave and his poll numbers. So they're hoping, it looks like they're kind of saying, hey, if maybe this is a test to see if we axe him, is this going to help Brandon's poll numbers? What do you think?
I don't know. How would that do it? I mean, people look up to this clown. It might affect his poll. It might make him worse.
Because now that this is coming out in mainstream media,
because of the puppy thing. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I still think people are so dumb and lost. They still put this guy up on the pedestal. Yeah, you might be mad at him. I mean, but it's like when he was in Congress and they had the hearings and he was talking about gain of function and how he lied on that. And what came out of that? All they got to do is stop talking about this, and people will forget. And he can go on about his business. It's the same thing like when Fukushima happened, and it was all over the news, and then they stopped talking about it, and now it's like there is no more Fukushima, there is no more nuclear waste being. It's just because it's not on the news, don't mean it's not still happening. So this guy they can just stop talking about this altogether, and he can go on about his business and say Dr. Captain Fauci, whatever you want to call him, and people will still follow him because they'll forget. That's what they always do. That's what happened with his hearings in Congress. He should have been tried and nothing came out of it. It was all on TV. The news covered it, and he was, Rand Paul and him went back and forth with each other, and then, okay, see ya. What happened? What came out of it?
Nothing. But like I said, though, the difference here is that mainstream media is talking about it. So I think people are bothered by the dogs, not the babies, because according to the left, it's okay to, like you said, we can kill them up to 2 years old. Why not? But this is apparently upsetting people because it looks like Brandon even said that he would shut down the virus, not the economy. And look at the mess, oh my gosh, that we're seeing. But let's distract everybody from that mess that he's causing by firing Fauci, perhaps.
That could be, well, or it could be just a distraction and people start looking over here and then they stop talking about it and it could be one of those two options. You know, because you don't have to do nothing Fauci. All the media got to do is just stop saying it. And everybody forget, and then you go on to the next distraction. Look over here, here's the truth.
Enough people believe that COVID is real, right? Enough people believe that it's real, and enough people think that the PCR test is sufficient to test them for it, and enough people believe the antigen test is sufficient. But as I've said before, and I'll say again, the NIH admits that neither test can differentiate from any other coronavirus.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see this as, like you said, being a distraction, a way to take us away from what's happening with this new administration. But at the same time, like I always say, you got this side, and you got the truth. So they'll take this distraction and use this distraction to make you stop looking at this distraction. But then over here is their real plan. We got to look beyond what they're showing us. They will always show us something to keep us looking one way and looking the other way while the truth is being slid between the middle.
Mike brings up a good point that I saw recently, that there was a whole thing showing that all the news companies are all saying sponsored by Pfizer, and it's a good grouped up deal where it says sponsored by Pfizer, CNN sponsored by Pfizer, MSNBC sponsored by Pfizer, you know, all of them sponsored, compilation.
So it's like if you're sponsored by somebody, you're going to do it's the same thing as the 501c3 churches and the schools. When they become 501c3 and entitled, I guess you can call it, and they become bound to that 501c3, as a church, if the government comes to you and say you can't talk about homosexuality in a negative way, you will abide by that because you want to keep your 501c3 status. This is why the Bible says don't be in debt to people, because you become a slave to the debtor. The Bible says that. Do not be in debt to people. And when you are a 501c3 church, you are in debt to the government, and you will do what they tell you to do because you want to keep that status. So it's the same thing here. If Pfizer is sponsoring all of these news stations and segments, and I've seen the same thing that Mike is talking about. Somebody actually put together a collage of all of them saying it in a row. There's even like segments on the Today Show where they say this segment is sponsored by Pfizer. You know, so it's like, so that means I can't say nothing negative about Pfizer, or they're going to take away my sponsorship, which is money out of their pockets. And this whole thing, that's why the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Think about that. All evil. Not some, all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. So these people would gladly sponsor a product. They'll gladly accept a sponsor from a product or a company that makes a product that has been known and has been proven to kill people, and has been and have been sued for it.
Oh, by the way, CNN themselves covered all of that, but that doesn't matter because it doesn't take long for anyone to forget.
They'll still be sponsored by them because it's the love of money.
Oh, interesting. Vivica from Ireland, welcome. She says they're calling anti-vaxxers in Ireland narcissistic, unlike Fauci.
That guy. He's funny.
But we want you guys to know that there's hope for you, because if you want to meet a truth or Christian near you, there's something now called the Fountain app. It says join the Fountain, where you can meet Christians who dare to question the false narrative. I'm more curious if this is some kind of data collection, though.
Well, that's how I met you.
It was called YouTube at the time. The truth or dating app. Until they started banning us off of there, and so now, they've got the Fountain instead. I don't know why it'd be called the Fountain, though. Does that sound... That sounds kind of fishy. I don't know about that.
It's a new agey fountain. It's a fountain of fish. There's a whole bunch of fish in the fountain, you see.
You can live forever if you go to this dating app and find your Christian truther.
Oh, yes,
I don't know.
The fountain of youth.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Hey.
why not? Well, I'm going on there. I'm gonna find my woman.
Good luck. I hope you do. Good luck with that.
She's
Oh,
gonna
man.
be flat. She's gonna be a flat earther.
Yes. Yes. I think that should be the questionnaire. Is the Earth flat or a globe? Right? What about the serpent seed? Are you familiar? Or, is space real? Mud floods? That should be all on the questionnaire. Just all sorts of truth or topic questions.
Just throw it all out there.
Are you vaccinated?
Are you going to get vaccinated? Do you want the snake bite?
Do you want it?
You maybe don't want no snake bite.
Are reptilians real?
Ooh.
Does
Ooh,
black
our dog's barking.
does black goo change your DNA? What is black goo? You got the graphene oxide people, then you got me who say it's going to be a third strand. You got to be answering third strand for me to want to go on a date with you.
I need to. Ooh.
I just gave out the answers.
Well, I wrote all that down. So after the show is over, I'll be answering all those questions.
Antonio.
You on a date.
All right, let's do it. Antonio Guerrero says, "Is there an antidote if you've taken the jab?" And I don't know, because I'm not trying to find that out. If you want to listen to Dr. New Age Madej, she'll tell you that there is. So you can
detox, right?
Yeah, she's got some kind of thing she'll sell you. She says it's free, but nothing's for free. If it's for free, you're the product, right? So
That's right.
What kind of data collection is she doing? And if you haven't seen my videos on her, I've done one specifically on her. I did one on my response to Richie from Boston, having her on, and then calling her COINTELPRO, a couple weeks after I did. And I did that after Canary Cry News Talk. So, somebody, Roy Posters, is bashing Christianity. I bet that's supposed to say that are bashing Dr. Madej, and for some reason I think you're one of the people he's talking about. Roy Posters? Is that what you actually meant to put in there? Huh. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I'm being talked about for bashing her and her New Age theology. I'm behind a bit. Okay. We'll probably answer.
What are they saying? That you're part of bashing? You're part of the Christian people that are bashing her? Is that what you're saying?
Somebody is bashing Christians that are bashing Dr. Madej. And for some reason, I think you're one of the people he's talking about. Roy Potter. Never heard of him. If somebody... Maybe Doc Michael can... I'm curious.
It doesn't matter. He's got his own opinion.
No, I'm not worried about it. I'd actually be flattered because somebody's talking about me in my channel. Yeah, how about that? How about that?
Well, maybe they're just lumping all Christians into one and saying that you're part of that group, not you in particular.
Okay, well, we're done with the fountain dating app because we are.
We are? You mean I didn't sign up yet? Wait a minute. Give me that link.
I'm not actually on there, so.
Send me the link.
There was a time I was talking about sending out my own application to, I'm like, maybe I should make an application to have somebody fill out to see if I should go on a date with them. And then somebody goes, no, don't do a dating app. And I'm like, no, I'm literally thinking about an application, that you'd fill out on paper. And I could send it out or put it online or something, and somebody could fill it out. But then all you have to do is watch a couple of videos, and it would give away what I want the answers to be, so it wouldn't work out.
That wouldn't work. Yeah, I would have stolen all of those and been ready for your answers, like I am now.
One thing we do love about Brandon is that he's willing to do these fists right here. And
boy.
Shout out to Brian from High Impact Flicks. I watch OB, original Brian. I watch almost all of his videos. I do like him. I know he goes on tangents about the same stuff over and over, but he's the reason I found so many good auditor channels. But check this out. This is very funny.
Because you had told us at the town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial expert about that, with just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial experts about that, just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that about that with just in
when he has the hair dryers, Anderson's face is blowing in the wind, and I didn't catch it the first time.
I didn't catch it either, and you pointed out with the jumper cables.
Yeah, we're gonna watch it again though. Hold on.
In terms of
people are so freaking creative.
Inflation, because
I gotta
you
see
had
this
told
again.
Us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial experts about that, just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial experts about that, just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at the town hall, I think it was in July, that about that with just
It's too funny.
Why is he standing like that?
I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing.
We should all just stand like that.
Oh my gosh.
We should have hands across America just standing like that.
Hands across America.
Imagine that. They'd have to ban all of us doing that. You cannot stand like this anymore.
Oh, they should do that. It should be a thing that everybody who voted for Biden, all 81 million, gets up.
Everybody at 1 p.m. at a certain time, everybody go like this. Stand like that. Oh my goodness. That is so funny.
Doc Michael asks us what we're smoking, but we don't smoke. So.
Well, you have to speak for yourself, woman.
I don't smoke. Sorry.
No, I don't smoke either. Thank you. I encourage no drug use. I'm a reverend.
That's right. The good reverend would never smoke anything because he is very wise. And thank you for hitting the like, everybody who's watching. We appreciate that. It helps the channel in some way or another. I don't know if it really does anymore, but okay. So we are done with Joe Biden and his amazing fist. This one's you, but you probably don't have it pulled up in front of you. But
I have it not, but I can see it on my screen because somehow I can see what you're sharing to them.
Yeah, Skype is fancy like that.
Yes.
Well, you're the one that brought it up. Tell me about the CDC head, Walensky. She plans to provide education. Should I just read it?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do.
So, CDC head Walensky reveals plan to provide education and counseling for unjabbed workers. This woman, this lovely lady who doesn't look like a ghoul at all, stopped by Fox News Sunday this past weekend with a stark message for essential workers. Get jabbed like we tell you to, or you very well might be subjected to education and counseling. Seriously. Ooh. She said that. Moreover, Walensky told host Chris Wallace that the CDC has a plan to do just that. Wallace kicked off the festivities by asking Walensky about police officers, health workers, and pilots walking off the job rather than succumbing to being told they must get the jab. As you know, there are cases where police officers or health workers or pilots are walking off the job rather than getting the jab. Are you still full speed ahead on mandates for essential workers to get the jab? And she was ready. It was almost like our pal Chris at the table for her. Quote, she says, quote, we have seen that these mandates are getting more and more people jabbed. Here's what we know. The most disruptive thing you can do to the workforce is to have a COVID outbreak in the workforce. That will most definitely not only send people home, but it will send people to the hospital, and some may pass. What we know from the police workforce is that there have been more deaths from the COVID over the last year and a half than all other causes of death for that workforce combined. So we believe it is very important to get these people jabbed. The great and powerful Walensky then dropped the bomb on the CDC's plan to deal with stubborn essential workers. Quote, there is a plan should these people not want to be jabbed towards education and counseling to get people the information they need so that they are feeling comfortable getting jabbed, end quote. Perhaps, Ms. Walensky, you should call your plan re-education. Even better, yes. You should open jab re-education camps so the CDC, with a strong assist from the Brandon administration, could provide intense training and counseling to the stupid among us who have the unmitigated gall to reject the federal government mandating what we inject into our bodies and the bodies of our children. Wallace raised the issue of depleted police departments and hospitals, quote, but what about the argument that we're talking about public health care? And if you, inaudible, so I don't know what I said, and we've seen some real resistance, for instance, in the Chicago Police Department, in the interest of public health on jabs, if you have a large part of police force leaving, in terms of public health, aren't you further behind the ball than having main gains, end quote? That's an interesting question because there are a lot of us that don't want police. But anyway, Walensky is a shrewd operator, although perhaps I'm reading too much into it or giving her more credit. But anyway, she goes on and says this, just a thought, I put zero past these people. Okay, quote, the way you can down a police force is by having a COVID outbreak in that police force. So what we're working to do is mitigate that from happening. She should have said litigate. Anyway, I think that's enough about that. Yeah. What do you got to say?
Just the whole wording of that, the counseling. I mean, think about that. They want to give us counseling, and in other words, they want to talk us into it.
Yep.
And if we can't be talked into it, what's next? Forcing us. And somehow either forcing us or taking us to somewhere where we can't be around other people, like they did back in what was that, World War II, with the Japanese and the Chinese, the Japanese I think it was, when they put them into internment camps, they rounded them all up. Why couldn't that happen again? History repeats itself, and when history repeats itself, is anybody looking? Who's watching when this happens? None of us really watch. We just go along like it's just regular stuff, like it's nothing new under the sun. Everything that happened back then is happening now. So for her to say that should spark alarms for everybody, not just Bible-believing Christians. Everybody should be in uproar about what she just said over what's happening to puppies.
Right, because well, who are they gonna? Who they're gonna put in instead of police and healthcare workers? They've already said they're putting in military.
It's crazy. It's craziness. It'll start with one. Ooh, I never sent you that. Did I send you that genome stuff from that video game back in the day? I thought I did. I didn't put it in Discord.
I
sent
think
you
that you sent it to me on my phone. Maybe.
Yeah, on your phone, in the texting. Yeah, well, I had to get it to put it in Discord eventually. But yeah, it can start with the military, it can start with whoever, but it's always going to come down to us. It's always going, and the re-education is just, like I said, alarms should be going off in everybody. Every American should have alarms going off and be like, and why is it so important for them to get this jab in us? That's another thing we should be thinking. Why is a snake bite so important? How many other snake bites have there been? And why is this one so important that they get into everybody? That's a question we should all be thinking. There's an agenda behind it, and it's an evil, sinister agenda, and you have to start waking up and seeing this.
You would hope, but there are still people who think that this is exactly what we should be doing. In my gym class, there's people sitting there talking about how they got theirs and when they got their second one and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sitting there, and somebody came in like, I'm glad you're back. Yeah, my daughter had the COVID and I got tested too. And I want to say, for what? What did you get tested for? You can tell them the NIH admits that that this PCR test and the antigen test do not distinguish. And they're trying to say there's other variants, and people believe that. They believe that there's other variants. They can't even test to distinguish this one from another one. And I was telling you, how sad is that? Because that means when I was working in the field that I believed you could test for H1N1. And I was saying, I've seen it. And I would say the same thing people are saying here. I've seen it. These people are really sick. They come in. I just know it when I see it. They weren't requiring masks, but I just felt like I knew it when I see it, and I do the test, and I go, yep, it's H1N1. Well, guess what? That's just another one you can't actually distinguish. You can't actually tell what you're seeing.
It's a simple thing. The 6-foot killer can only go 6 feet. So everybody just stay 6 feet away. If it was that simple. If it was real. The 6-foot killer does not exist. It's all a mechanism for them to get control of everything that we do, and it's working. And you got like you were talking about people at your gym. I have people at my job that are saying, but this was a man-made thing, and so you'll get people thinking it's man-made. Then you get people thinking it came from bats, and it wasn't man-made. Like I said, you got this side, and then you got this side, and in the middle is the truth. And I believe, only because of what I see, that the truth is it doesn't exist. But they have to keep you thinking it does over here, and it's man-made. And then over here they got people thinking it came from bats. And you got the red people and the blue people going at each other over something that doesn't even exist.
It's real on the right because it was made in a lab, and it's real for the left because Fauci says so.
And in the middle is the truth. It's not real at all.
Right, it's not. You can't test for it. Anyway, this lady goes on to have more to say. She says, we may need to update our definition of fully jabbed as booster eligibility increases. And in fact, I got a text today from a friend I might sneeze. Excuse me. I'm just spreading COVID over here. And she sent me this. It says the CDC added people with mood disorders to a list of high-risk individuals eligible for booster jabs, which is interesting. So if you have a mood disorder, then you are now eligible for more jabs. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Didn't you say something to me about impotency or what was it? You said something about if you don't get a jab. What was it you said to me earlier? You said something about not having kids or something like that. Remember?
Mm-mm.
Oh, come on, man. You didn't say that?
Not having kids? No.
Yeah, you said something about either. I can't remember. I'll think about it later. If I can remember it, I'll say it. Well, you said something to me earlier about either not being able to have kids or it wasn't impotency. I don't think it was that one. It was something. I'll remember it, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're back to the CDC director. She said Friday that the U.S. may need to amend its definition of fully jabbed against COVID as more Americans become eligible because they want more people to get it, obviously. Right now, she says, right now, we don't have booster eligibility for all people currently. It needs to be for all people. So we have not yet changed the definition of fully jabbed. We will continue to look at this. We may need to update our definition for this in the future. Her comments come after the FDA authorized the booster shots for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson. On the agency authorized mixing and matching the jabs, too. You can get one and then the other. There's just going to be people that probably go out there and get so many of these. And, I mean, there was one guy, I remember on Canary Cry News Talk, there was a guy saying that he did that, and he didn't tell them that he'd previously gotten other jabs so that he could continue to go and get more of these and booster himself before they were approving the boosters.
I don't know what to say. I just get lost with all of this. It's just too much. Updating updating the vaccine. When are people going to just be like, all right, I had enough? When is that going to happen? How much more are they going to tell you and give you and before you just get sick of it?
I'm glad that Vivica brings up that people lost their sense of taste and smell and that there are those reactions to this, because we're going to bring up a show from, what was it, 2005?
2005.
2005, where somebody lost their sense of taste, and it wasn't due to this because it didn't exist back then.
So my question is, when we play this clip, we didn't actually get to the part. We'll skim through and find it when we're doing it.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult because we got to be careful not to get copyright strike on it.
Yeah, but yeah, we're going to have to. I guarantee you that once people see what we're playing, they're going to know what we're talking about because most people will watch this show. And the question is, if this was that happened in 2005, so does that mean that this existed back in 2005 and they just didn't tell us? Or is this something totally different? Maybe he just got sick from something that made him lose his sense of taste and smell. Because I know I've had that happen to me before. And just because, even if it happens now, does that mean that that's what it is? I mean, they're always adding symptoms to this. It started off from just these few symptoms, and then it turns into everything. It turns into symptoms everywhere. Everything you do is a symptom of the 6-foot killer. So I can't say that that's, just because you lose your taste and smell that you had a 6-foot killer, because you could have lost your taste and smell 10 years ago and just not remember it.
Yeah, and what if you did? You didn't go and tell everybody that you had something new and novel, because that's one of the symptoms. It's been pushed in our heads so much. It's just like I told my gym instructor yesterday. She asked where a friend was, and I said, oh, her coworker is pretending to have the COVID. And she goes, oh, he's pretending. And I go, yeah, he went and got a test and it said positive, so he's staying home, pretending to have it. But I said, it's just been pounded in our heads, just like when you get a new car, you see your car everywhere. You wouldn't have thought it was this, except for you've been told it is. So now you believe it because of those particular symptoms.
It's just like you said, when you get a new car or a used car that you never had before, you start seeing that car everywhere on the road because you have that car. And the news, and they know this. They know how we think. They know how we operate. So they get there. And if you look at Event 201, where they talk about using the media, that's exactly what they did. They used the media to mind control you into believing that something exists that does not exist. It's that simple. So they would say that these are the symptoms. So you say, okay, I have those symptoms. Even though you may have had those symptoms 10, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. You may have had these same symptoms 3 years ago and not thought anything of it, because it wasn't pushed into your head 3 years ago or a year ago. Before this happened, you could have had loss of taste and sense of smell. You could have had that 2 years ago and just not remembered it. But because it's not pushed into your head to be something dangerous, you didn't think nothing of it. But now you do.
Yep, that's precisely it. Just like anything else. Pregnant women see a lot of pregnant ladies, when you have a new baby. It's just all these things. You see those things. When it's new for you, you see it and believe it. I mean, even when I would get sick, I was a little bit nervous that I might have it, but it doesn't exist. So it's, if it was a bioweapon, and they really wanted it to work, we'd be dead.
Why didn't it work?
We'd be dead.
If it was a bioweapon, like some people, the guy at work was saying, they made this to kill off people, and another person that I know said that. Well, why did they tell us to stay away from each other? If it was something that was made that we would spread for each other to kill each other, then they would have us come together, not stay 6 feet apart. They wouldn't tell us to put masks on so it couldn't spread. They would want it to spread. They would want us together. They would want us breathing on each other and coughing on each other. So it's that simple. If they wanted that, then it would have happened. So that doesn't fly. If they wanted the people dead, they would do it.
Right, which is kind of interesting with the whole jab. It's fun. I wonder, and I'm guessing this is just a test. Like, we're just going through a drill to see how many people are gonna go along with it. And I think looking at Operation Lockstep, you see that the expectation is eventual pushback.
And I think that it may have started out as a drill, but they said, this is working. Let's keep it going. Why stop? We got them to shut their businesses down. We got them to stay in their house and lock themselves in their own house. We got them walking around with gloves and masks on. We got them listening to everything that the news says. We got them taking the snake bite without even knowing what's in the snake bite. We got jobs saying you can't come and work unless you get the snake bite. What are we stopping for? We can just keep on going doing what we want. And if there's any pushback, it's too late, because we got 700 billion already thinking this way and 1 billion not. We got the majority of them. So if this small little group decides they want to fight back, this big group, we don't have to say anything. Let them fight each other. Let the big group say to them and shame them into joining them. And that's what's happening. They don't have to say nothing. All Biden got to say is, go get it. Everybody else is getting it. We've been getting these things for years, they say. How many times we heard that? Or these snake bites have been mandated for years to get in schools and all that. But it was never pushed this way. Never. And there's snake bites for different types of things like tuberculosis and, these things actually kill people.
I remember what you were thinking of when I was saying is, I believe this is it. But it's like I was telling you earlier that if I have a friend whose boyfriend, she doesn't know if he's going to get his kids the jab now that they're going to approve it for ages 5 to 11. And I said, oh man, I really hope he doesn't. And she says, well, he doesn't have much of a choice, or he might not have a choice because of their mom. So their mom might just go and do it, not tell him. That's a possibility that she could do that. And what would happen if he went to court against her and said, she did something that I didn't agree to. She got a poison. She put a poison in my children's bodies. And I think that's dangerous and I should have full custody. What do you think the court's going to say in this instance now? Look at where we are.
Right.
They're going to go on her side. Whether they're, and I said it's because the judges are on the left, but you said it right. It doesn't even matter anymore because the ones on the right think it's real too. And they're going to be like, well, she's the one that's going to get the kids full custody if you go to court about this kind of stuff because she's the one that's actually taking care of them and getting the jab. And he's going to lose it for not doing it. That's where we are.
Both cheeks on the butt. Both cheeks on the butt are pushing the jab. They're both pushing the snake bite. Left, right, blue, red, cheek to cheek. Both pushing the snake bite.
Yep. Even if they say they're not.
Even if they say they're not. Because they believe it.
Yep.
Some of them just honestly just believe it. Some of them know what they're doing. Some know that, look, rules for thee, not for me. That just sums it up all right there. Rules for thee, not for me. You see all of these high elite people walking around doing everything that they say we can't do. Everything they say we can't do, they do. Why? Because it don't apply to them. You got Biden saying everybody's got to get the snake bite or you can't go to work except for these people.
And they're hanging out side by side without any face coverings. They're hanging out in big groups. They're not afraid of it. Shouldn't that tell you everything you need to know?
Yeah, it's right there. They're separate. They're saying they're better than us. So they don't have to do the things that they tell us to do. It's right in front of our faces. And then you get Biden saying it. You got everybody's got to pay their taxes. The rich need to pay taxes and the working class. That's only two classes. You got the kings and the serfs. That's where we're at right now. There's no more middle class. The middle class was holding all this up. The middle class, you can't have a middle class when you have socialism and communism. There can be no middle class. So they are in the process, if not already have done it, destroyed the middle class.
I don't want to play this video because it's an actual today, and they can play this kind of stuff and they can say all the words that we're not allowed to say and YouTube won't pull them down. But I don't want to play it on ours because we already might get pulled down anyway. But by the way, you guys, I am on Odyssey. Let's find that real quick. I am on Odyssey. Everything that I do that is under 2 hours long gets backed up to the Odyssey channel. So whenever I constantly am asked, do you have a Rumble? Do you have a this? Do you have a that? Well, no, I don't want to do all those. What I have is Odyssey because it's backing up everything, even the things that YouTube pulls down. It gets backed up on here automatically. So please go to the Odyssey and add me. I'm going to actually pin this so that it'll stay at the top of the chat. So it's now pinned because if you like what you're seeing and if you want to see this and it gets taken down, that's a place you can go watch it and still share it. So I'm not going to play this, but what we know is they're now saying they want it. They say it's 90% effective in kids 5 to 11, which means they say they've been trying it, whether they really have or not.
We don't know.
Jeremy says it's amazing that we say it's fake, but virologists have looked inside the juke juice, and one was saline solution, and the other had graphene. We're saying the virus is fake. There is no COVID SARS-CoV-2.
There's no 6-foot killer.
So that's what we're saying is fake. Not the jab. Obviously that's real. I don't think it's the graphene oxide that everybody's afraid of. I think that's a distraction, but I can't prove it. So anyway, a lot of people are warning that we're going to start seeing strokes and heart problems in these aged kids. And there was something that I saw recently that looked like predictive programming. There was a billboard type thing on a bus that said strokes happen in children too. Watch for the signs. And they don't. Strokes don't happen in children.
They're already pushing that. They're already programming us. And I just want to say one thing. Somebody out there give me undeniable proof that the 6-foot killer exists. I need undeniable proof that the 6-foot killer even exists. Can anybody do that?
They have never isolated it or done anything like that. They're saying they have variants, but they can't even test for the one they say they have out there.
And the man that made the PCR test said that test is supposed to be used for that in the first place, and it's going to come up wrong. It's not going to work. But once again, I say, somebody prove to us that the 6-foot killer exists, and proof is not my cousin had it. Proof is not my aunt had it or somebody died from it. That's not proof. That's what somebody says.
We're going to talk more about that when we get to Steve Quayle, so stay tuned for that, guys. And if you're a big Steve Quayle fan, you're not going to want to listen to what I have to say about him. So when we get to that, if you are a fan of Steve Quayle, you're going to want to go ahead and leave. But we're not there yet. We'll be there in a few topics.
Just put your idols down. You won't get butthurt.
What I did do a video on that did get taken down, Jeremy, on my Odyssey is this one. And I don't want to say it because I got taken down in a strike for it. But this is the one where we say what the real cause of death is. Right. And I'll drop the link for that too because...
And you know what you got in there? You got plenty of proof. We have proof of what it is. And you know what? There's stories. Like my mom was telling me the same story about my uncle who was diagnosed with the 6-foot killer and supposedly had died from it. But everything that we say in that video that you just put up happened to him. He died from certain things that wasn't the 6-foot killer and was labeled 6-foot killer death.
Just like if you're found dead, they're going to say that's what you died from. How are they're going to test you after death?
So people can say to me, somebody died from the 6-foot killer. I know it's true. I know it's real because so-and-so died from the 6-foot killer. And I can say right back to you, I know it's not real because they said my uncle died from the 6-foot killer, but he didn't. So how is your proof any better than mine?
I'm sorry. I think it's Tiwaz or Tiwaz. TIWAZ says the people in the medical field are going along with it. They have immunity. And I should probably say no more. The rest is in the video. I just showed you guys.
It's in that video.
Here. So.
All y'all got to do is look it up. It's there. It's available for us to see ourselves. How we find information? The same way y'all can. We didn't do anything different. There was one thing we did different. We don't listen to them. That's what we're doing different. We're not listening to what they say. I'll hear what they got to say, but then I got to see it for myself. We all know we need to start doing that. Start researching and looking up things for yourself. Don't let Dr. Homeboy tell you what it is. Don't let Biden tell you what it is. Don't let any doctor tell you that your sibling died from something and you have no knowledge of it. My mom was like, no, I'm not letting him go to this hospital to get this test or get whatever done because that's not what it is. When did they get that? They couldn't explain what happened. All they started doing was giving him a certain medicine that is in that video that she's talking about. They gave him that exact medicine, and it did exactly what her video describes. And the next thing you know, he was dead.
I think we should say no more about that. The video link is in the comments there, and I'm showing it to you. But if you just go to my Odyssey channel that is pinned at the top, you'll see all the videos. What we will find interesting, if you didn't know, is that you may agree. Turns out you and Manly P. Hall and myself, we all agree on something together that you might not have expected, that you agree with Manly P. Hall, so I'm going to read what this says. The crime of jabs. How much longer, this is from Manly P. Hall's monthly magazine called The All-Seeing Eye. How much longer will people have to pay to have smallpox is the problem confronting a large number of people. They send their children to the government indoctrination camps, aka public school. I said that. That's what I said is government indoctrination. But they are forced to allow a pedigreed concept to pump smallpox into them under the refined heading of jab. It has been proven conclusively that a great train of ills in body and in spirit follow after the snake bite. Many snake-bitten people have succumbed to smallpox, while many exposed to it have not taken it, although unjabbed. The karmic debt for jabs is twofold. First, to our bodies, which we deliberately defile with smallpox serum and snakebite. Secondly, to the animal who goes through untold suffering and is itself given smallpox in order that from the ulcers the drops of the jab may be extracted and pumped into us. The occultist is fighting tooth and nail to abolish the snakebite and supplant it with good common sense. Smallpox is primarily a filth disease, and if people would live right, bathe right, and eat right, they would not get it, for the healthy body is perfectly capable of taking care of its germs. We look forward with great hopes to the day when we will remove from the fair name of our race the blemish, mental and physical, the swollen glands, the tonsil trouble, the nervousness and debility, rashes and outbreaks, not a small percentage of which can be traced to the snake bite, which kills the best in us in order to save the rest. What do you think about that? Tell us who Manly P. Hall is.
Manly P. Hall was a Freemason, one of the highest ranking Freemasons, an occultist, a Lucifer worshiper, but he's telling you they're playing. He's straight up saying it. And my thing is, if we really, I mean, oh my goodness, in order for people to believe that this is real, you have to believe that the government cares about you. You see what I'm saying? If you believe that the 6-foot killer is real, you also have to believe that the government cares about you, because the government is coming out with a solution to the 6-foot killer to save you. Does the government care about you? Do they care about you? If they cared about you, why would they be spraying stuff in the sky like they do? If they cared about you, why would they be putting foods? Look at your grocery stores. I work at one. Look at what they Dieter Dings. I had to shout you out. But look at Bill Dieter Ding. But look at what they do. The bad foods, the chips and sodas and the bad foods that are bad for you are cheap. We can afford that stuff. But the good organic food is expensive. I can't afford to shop organic. Most of us can't afford to shop totally organic, good food for us. So who's that for? That's for the rich folks. If they cared about you, everything would be organic. If they cared about you, you wouldn't have McDonald's. If they cared about you, Burger King and all these fast food places with the big people eating 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, sesame seed bun, and a Diet Coke, wouldn't do that. They wouldn't promote that. They wouldn't allow these things to be promoted if they cared about you, because they are forcing something on you right now. If they cared about you, why don't they force that? Why don't they force eating right? Why don't they force no McDonald's, no Krispy Kremes? Instead, they're giving you Krispy Kremes.
Instead, they're putting morbidly obese people on the cover of magazines and saying, this is a healthy body. This is a healthy and beautiful.
Stop making fun of them.
And you're supposed to be attracted to it, otherwise you're fat phobic.
Come on, y'all. If they cared about you, they would be forcing all good things. Doctors wouldn't force bad things into you. Doctors wouldn't just turn around and look at a chart and say, oh, well, you got this. Doctors wouldn't try to give you medicines that you don't need. Doctors would be teaching you how to eat healthy, just like Manly P. Hall said. Doctors would be teaching you. I'm not saying all doctors are bad, so I don't want to hear that. What I'm saying is, if the government cared about you, then these things would be being enforced, not a jab, not a snake bite. If they truly cared about you, they would be saying things like, eat healthy, here's some free fruit instead of a free snake bite. How about a free apple?
All doctors that are working in hospitals right now and adhering to the protocols are bad. Any doctor that's adhering to the protocols currently is a very bad physician. Any nurse that's adhering to the protocols currently in the hospital is a horrible nurse. Any MA, any LPN, anybody adhering to the current protocols is to blame right now.
Here's a good concept. How many billions and trillions of dollars have we given to these pharmaceutical companies for the snakebite production that we could have used for food to feed people? How many people could we have fed in Africa? How many people in America that I see them all the time on the streets? I'm giving them money. I don't have it to give, but I do it. Why are people like us helping our own people out when the government they're taking our trillions of dollars from us and giving it to the snakebite people so they can put a snakebite in us, when if they cared about you, they would just give the money or food to the homeless and provide homes for homeless. If they cared about us, why aren't they doing that? My point is, you can't believe that this is real and not believe, and then say that the government cares about you or they don't care about you. Either if they care about you, then they wouldn't be doing this, because there's so many other things they could be doing with this money that will benefit all of us 100 times more than the snake bite. So that tells me that the 6-foot killer is a ploy to get you to do what they want. Number one. And number two, to get the snake bite inside of you for some reason.
I want to thank Duke for bringing up the Hippocratic Oath. Thank you, because the original, and you can't tell me that they're still taking an oath. And what does the Bible say about an oath?
What is it, Matthew 5:33, I think it is?
You don't take any oath. Never.
You're not supposed to do that.
And so this says, in the original, the classic Hippocratic Oath, which it's still called. It's still called the Hippocratic Oath from Hippocrates. I swear by Apollo the physician and Asclepius the surgeon, likewise Hygeia and Panacea, and call all the gods and goddesses to witness that I will observe and keep this unwritten oath to the utmost of my power and judgment. And so that tells me all I need to know about what that's about. And again, we know that there are ignorant medical providers out there, but this is a time where I know that the medical providers who are coming out and speaking about what's going on, I respect those people because they know it's wrong. They know it's wrong because they're seeing people
right
going away in a way that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, and they were given the information. Go to that other video, please. I got to stop talking about it, but
my thing about the Hippocratic Oath, when you take an oath, are we human beings? Aren't we people? Do people, cops take oaths too, to uphold the Constitution.
That's right. Well, that's true.
So did our president. What's our president's oath? Do people break oaths? Aren't we humans? Just because I take an oath, does that mean I'm going to actually follow it? Or if somebody comes to me with a boatload of cash and says, do this, and I know it's against my Hippocratic Oath. It depends on the type of person you are. What type of morals do you have? Will you accept money knowing that you're going to hurt somebody, or turn down the money? It's the same thing with gun violence and all this stuff. It's not guns that's killing people. It's people's hearts. It's man's heart. Because I don't need a gun to kill somebody. I've come close without a gun. You don't need guns. If I want to kill somebody, I'll go kill them. But that's me. That's not my gun. My gun is sitting over here. He don't want to kill nobody. He's just in the lockbox. He don't know what it's not even real. I mean, it's not alive. I have to take that weapon. And it's the same thing with these oaths that people take. You have a moral obligation to decide, Do I want to keep this oath if it's a good oath? And then we shouldn't take oaths in the first place. But my oath is to the Lord. I have a moral responsibility to treat everybody right. That's God giving me that. And that's what we ought to follow, not some oath from a man. I follow what God says, the Bible, the Ten Commandments, living right morally. I try to do that every day. And we all are supposed to try to do that every day. And we don't need extra things to do that. If we all kept that in us like we're supposed to, we all have that light, like it says in John 1. Jesus is the light of the world, and he's in all of us. And if we all let that light shine, the entire world, we wouldn't need none of that, because money, the love of money, is the root of all evil. We wouldn't have that love of money, that greed, that want. We wouldn't have that. But it's a moral thing inside of us, the moral conviction that we get when we have that opportunity to go against what the word of God says. But morally, are we prepared to do things? And a lot of these doctors, they take these oaths and they say, we're not going to hurt nobody. And that's, willingly, I'm not going to do this, whatever. You get some money. They do it. Politicians, they take an oath to serve the, whatever state they're in or whatever county. Somebody come along with some money, a little NGO come along, they want some bill passed, they throw some money at you. You do it. Unless you are morally right and you don't do it.
Okay, we're going to keep it under 2 hours because that way it'll back up to Odyssey. So let me move on to
That's your way of saying, shut up, ninja.
Yeah, no, it is not. It's redirecting.
Yes.
Come back to this. Okay.
Bring it home.
So everybody was very excited about Trump Truth Social Network, and I told everybody that said anything about it to me or on my Facebook, I bombarded them. It doesn't matter if it's not on blockchain. And what do we see here already? His Trump Truth Social Network failed to properly license its platform. Dun, dun, dun. That tells you it's not on blockchain. And why do I say that matters? Because they wouldn't need to license it if it was on blockchain with anybody. They wouldn't have to follow any of the World Wide Web rules at all. That would never... You can build on blockchain and nobody can do anything to it. They can't take it down. They can't say, oh, this goes against... who is it that's in control of this kind of stuff? The who is it?
The SEC.
Okay. They couldn't say anything about it. They could say, well, we won't host it like on certain platforms. Like, we're not going to let you use an Apple app. Apple's not going to do an app for it, or Android's not going to. They don't have to host it, but they can't stop it from existing. So he did not. He should know better. Everybody who still thinks that this guy is going to come around and save America, please stop it. Please stop. Because he can't even build on blockchain, or he doesn't either. He's not smart enough to know that he should, or he doesn't have people around him smart enough because he somehow doesn't know any ignorant.
He has served his purpose that God had him do. His purpose was to slow things down. He had 4 years. God allowed him. God ordained him to be our president. And I don't know how many times we said this, Aaron. Me and you have both said this. But God has ordained him to be our president for 4 years, to slow down what we see happening right now. Because had he lost, we'd be 8 years ahead. Imagine how much further along we'd be if Hillary was our president instead of him. If she had 4 years, and she probably would have got 4 more years after that. But just imagine those 4 years that what Hillary Clinton could have done in 4 years. 4 years earlier. This would have been happening 4 years earlier. So we'd be 4 to 8 years ahead in their plan. God put that man in position to slow things down.
Yeah, but Truth Spirit makes a good point. Slow roll, but then all of a sudden, Operation Warp Speed.
Yeah. Well, what's that tell you, though?
Yeah, 2 wings of the same bird. But as you like to say...
2 cheeks on the same butt. They both stink.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
It's a good example, though, because it is true that it is just crap coming out. Both sides.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeremy says if HRC got in, Jesus would have come back already. and that's a good point, because I say that they try to push things in their own time and they can't. If they want to push Armageddon in their own time, it's not going to happen.
God's time. God's in control of all this. Mm-hmm. God, He is in control. He sees what's happening. It's not like he went on vacation and come back and say, "Oh, wait a minute, I forgot all about this." He's watching. It's all part of His plan, not their plan. They think they running stuff because they don't believe in God. But we know better.
Well, they believe. They just don't believe who He is, who He says He is. They believe of Him as a demiurge.
And some don't believe Him at all. Some believe that Satan is the God. And the fact of the matter is, we know who the God is. We know who's really running things. So they can try all day long to push and push and push. And I mean, like, look, how long has this been going on? God is extending this for thousands of years. Satan's been trying this. It started way back then. It's not nothing new here. What's happening? This is all him trying over and over and over, and God extending and extending and extending. I go back to when Noah had the ark and was building the ark. He had the ark built, and for 120 plus days, nothing happened. God was extending it to try to give people time to get saved. And Noah was preaching out, yelling, "It's going to rain. It's going to rain." People saying, "No, it ain't. No, it ain't." It's the same thing happening here. Same thing with Lot. Abraham was like, Abraham said, "Please don't kill everybody. Can you just find a certain amount of people?" And God said, "You show me one person and I don't deserve this." But he kept giving them time. He kept giving Abraham time. And eventually God was like, "Okay, that's enough." So that's going to be happening to us. Eventually, God's going to say, "Okay, I had enough." But it's in His time, not in man's time.
Amen. Hallelujah.
That was good, Reverend, right there.
Yeah, Reverend. Okay, so we have a fun Space is Fake article. Everybody's like, "Oh no, look at what China's doing. Oh geez, oh gosh." And I saw this and I laughed out loud. We have no idea how they did this. Secret hypersonic launch shows China streaking ahead in arms race. The nuclear-capable missile circled the entire Earth, I don't know why they didn't say globe, at low orbit before descending on its target, ultimately missing by 20 miles. China's test of hypersonic missile in space is a game changer that should fundamentally alter the U.S.'s calculations about Beijing's military leverage, experts have warned. Over the weekend, it emerged that the Chinese military in August secretly, nobody saw this, rocket around the globe. I mean, seriously, hold on. Okay, they secretly launched a rocket carrying a hypersonic glide vehicle into space, which flew around the globe through low orbit before returning to Earth. While the missile reportedly missed its target by about 24 miles, the test shows that China has made rapid progress on the lightning-fast weapons and is far more advanced. They're so advanced, they're circling a globe somewhere, you guys. This is amazing. Anyway, that their lightning-fast weapons and is far more advanced than U.S. intelligence officials had realized. And we have no idea how they did this, quotes the Financial Times. Countries including the U.S., UK, Russia, North Korea have all been working on developing hypersonic missiles, which have the advantage of fast flight, traveling at 5 times the speed of sound or more, and increased maneuverability that can make them very difficult to counter. They also fly at lower altitudes than ballistic missiles, meaning they can potentially reach targets faster. Drew Thompson, a former American Defense Department official with responsibility for China, said the test, quote, really should change U.S. calculations, end quote. We got to change our math up. It is racist currently. So if we don't un-racism our math, we're going to be behind China. Quote, especially if more tests improve the accuracy, establish its credibility, then I think it is a game changer in a way. We got to improve the credibility of U.S. calculations. I think it is a game changer in a way that little else has really shifted the balance, said Mr. Thompson, who is also somebody I don't care about. Quote, once it works, once it's credible, it negates U.S. missile defenses and it makes the U.S. vulnerable, and that has to fundamentally change U.S. strategic calculations. He keeps saying the same thing over and over again. What else do we need to know? Nothing. A missile supposedly circled the globe. That's amazing. China really is ahead of the game because we don't have a globe, first off, but nobody saw this happen. It went totally undetected with its hypersonic speed of sound, speed, and it was in space. What do you say?
You're telling me none of our satellites picked this up? I didn't see it.
That's why I had to laugh when I read this. I'm like, people believe this is true?
And all of the millions of satellites you've seen pictures of how many satellites are supposed to be around the Earth. It didn't come near any of them. No satellites. This thing just flies and it lands on a spinning ball.
Obviously, the speed of sound is faster than 1,000 miles or whatever per minute. Is it?
So where did it land at again? Because the Earth is spinning at different speeds. If it's a ball, up near Antarctica, it's spinning a lot faster than at the middle of the Earth. So how do they calculate the different speeds from the top of the, like you got the ball like this? So up here it's spinning faster like a top, and it gets slower as it gets down. So you have to calculate all of that. This is like I say with the weather people, when they have the weather going across the screen. They show we're tracking a storm going from here to here, and it's going to be at this place at this time. Well, the Earth is supposedly spinning, but on their screen, it's not. And the storm comes across, and it actually it's pretty close to the time they say. But their screen is not spinning, so how are they calculating that? If the storm is coming from the south and going up to the north, they'd have to calculate the difference of speed that the Earth is spinning, because from the bottom to the middle are different speeds. At the equator of the Earth, they say, at the equator, the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. So what is it spinning at the top? How many miles an hour is it spinning up there? It's crazy. I got to mute.
A lot more. But yeah, so it depends on where you're flying that you have to change your speed anyway. This missile is very special. If you're not in the Discord server, I just dropped a link for that, and I think you should join. This is where I put all the articles. If you want them, I can share them in there with you if this is something you want to have a copy of. But I bet most of you have heard about a lot of that by now. Moving on to a little bit different, not much of a different subject, because boy is it all related. But gods and robots, will AI transform religion? This is an extremely short article because it's a video that I won't play. But artificial intelligence is changing how we interact with everything from food to healthcare, travel, and also religion. Experts say major global faiths, my faith is not global, but many major global faiths are discussing their relationship with AI, and some are starting to incorporate this technology into their worship. Robot priests can recite prayers, deliver sermons, and even comfort those experiencing a spiritual crisis. That sounds great. What do you think? You want that for yourself, Shawn?
Well, I just started my AI religion. Yes, I would like that. Thank you.
Oh, what is yours called, Wise Reverend?
It's called the Snakebite religion, and it's about putting nanotechnology into my brain so that I can be connected with the 5G and be part of the hive mind and look like crackheads in Kensington, Pennsylvania.
Leaning over.
Leaning over
with your head down.
Doing what I'm not going to say what we call it.
You can guess what it looks like. But, that's the look of, yes, you want the hive mind zombified attachment so that you can be part computer, part human. And what people think is going to happen for them, they think they're going to get the superhuman powers promised to them, things like Spider-Man stuff, or they think you're going to get these superpowers like Venom, where you're going to be able to, and they make Venom a good guy. It's called the anti-hero now. Or you're going to have superpowers like Superman, all these, name a character, and you're going to possibly have those superpowers. But what you're really going to become is a hive mind superconductor.
Or be like the Matrix and learn karate without having to practice. Just injecting in your brain, and now I know karate.
Yes, that is a very, very occultist movie. I know people love to refer to it and think it's the most real truth-telling movie ever made, but I guarantee you there's lots of truth-telling movies besides The Matrix, and that one is still a new age concept, and it's still pushing what you just said, to give you quick knowledge information. Just upload it to the brain immediately. Duke says Superman is gay now. Yes, he is. Yep, he's a total homo.
Well, it's not actually Superman who's gay, it's his son, but it's the same thing.
Is he not a Superman character though?
Yeah, Superman's son is gay. He's still
Superman.
He's still Superman. Yeah, he's still Superman. But yeah, I guess you can say the same character, but it's his son who is gay, and since his dad is Superman, he can accept that because he's a Superman.
He's so much like his dad because he also falls for a reporter. Related to this, if you guys don't remember, if you haven't been on my channel since 2017, you won't know this, but if you've been on my channel since 2017, we talked about this live. Not me and Shawn. I mean we as in me and my channel, my listeners and all that. Not followers, not fans, my listeners. That this guy, and Shawn reminded me of this, Anthony Lewandowski started the first church of artificial intelligence, and he is a Silicon Valley guy. So Anthony Lewandowski makes an unlikely profit. This is from 2017. Dressed Silicon Valley casual in jeans and flanked by a PR rep rather than cloaked acolytes, the engineer known for self-driving cars and triggering a notorious lawsuit because I believe one of his cars ran over a biker or something, could be unveiling his latest startup instead of laying the foundations for a new religion, but he is doing just that. Artificial intelligence has already inspired billion-dollar companies, far-reaching research programs, and scenarios of both transcendence and doom. Now Lewandowski is creating its first church. The new religion of artificial intelligence is called Way of the Future. It represents an unlikely next act for the Silicon Valley robotics wonderkind at the center of high-stakes legal battle between Uber and Waymo, Alphabet's autonomous vehicle company. Papers filed with the IRS in May named Lewandowski as leader or dean of the new religion, as well as CEO of nonprofit corporation formed to run it. The documents state that Way of the Future's activities will focus on the realization, acceptance, and worship of a godhead based on artificial intelligence developed through computer hardware and software. That includes funding research to help create the divine AI itself. They're creating something for you to worship. Oh, I mean, geez, people. The religion will seek to build working relationships with AI industry leaders and create a membership through community outreach, initially targeting AI professionals and, quote, laypersons who are interested in the worship of a godhead based on AI, end quote. The filings also say that the church, quote, plans to conduct workshops and educational programs, to counsel you and educate you, through the San Francisco Bay Area beginning this year, end quote. That timeline may be overly ambitious given that the Waymo Uber suit, the lawsuit in which Lewandowski is accused of stealing self-driving car secrets. Oh, I thought there was something about somebody being hit. I must have that totally wrong. Is set for an early December trial, but Dean of the Way of the Future, who spoke last week with Back Channel in his first comments about the new religion and his only public interview since Waymo filed its suits in February, said he is dead serious about the project. Quote, what is going to be created will effectively be a god. Lewandowski tells me in his modest mid-century home on the outskirts of Berkeley, California. Quote, it's not a god in the sense that it makes lightning or causes hurricanes, but if there is something a billion times smarter than the smartest human, what else are you going to call it? I wanted a way for everybody to participate in this, to be able to shape it. If you're not a software engineer, you can still help, he says. It also removes the ability for people to say, oh, he's just doing this to make money. Yeah. Anyway, it goes on, and I don't know that I really want to read any more about it. I think that's enough. I mean, here we are worshiping AI, and he's creating it because it's just smaller than any human, so why not worship it?
Yeah, it's just nonsense. I haven't had too much to say about it. I mean, we most of us concede that we're headed. This whole fourth industrial revolution is all part of this. When you got look up the Internet of Things. Look that up. Internet of Things. This is all part of that. Ray Kurzweil, what do you say? 2045 we'll all be integrated with AI. This is all part of the transhuman agenda, and it's not too much to say about it. It's just even Aldous Huxley talked about this stuff. Talked about integrating with computers, and you look at. It's just so crazy how people can't see. I'm going to go off on a tangent again. I'm trying to hold myself back because I've done enough of that today. But man, I don't even want to say anymore. I'm gonna leave it to you. It's on you.
All right. If you are a fan of Steve Quayle, then you'll want to leave now. I'm going to talk about this 24-minute video that he came out and gave an interview on this channel, whoever this guy is. He's somebody that's known on Brighteon. So I am going to basically counter everything he says on here, except for, well, there's 99 truths to sell one big lie. But Steve Quayle is one big liar, if you ask me, because he comes on here. So you've had time to leave. If you like Steve Quayle and you want to stay and tell me how mad you are that I'm talking about it, you can do that. But I'm still going to talk about it. If you don't want to hear it, here we go. Steve Quayle comes on here and he says this was a hit job. This was an assassination attempt on him, people like Tom Horn, Russ Dizdar, and Rob Skiba. And I'm here to tell you, how do you know, Steve Quayle, first of all, he doesn't ever, in the 24 minutes of this video, ever mention how this possibly happened, except for that he thinks it's aerosolized. And then he goes on to say that Russ Dizdar died of rapid onset COVID. Uh-oh, yeah, we probably will get taken down now. Anyway, tell me this, Shawn. Does Steve Quayle believe that the virus exists? Does he believe in the PCR and antigen test?
Yes, he does.
He must.
And if he does that, and if he believes it, what are his followers believing? Most likely, they're going to, what he thinks. But for him to say what he's saying, it just confirms that they want to separate two different truths. They want to get certain people thinking this way and certain people thinking this way and keep you away from the truth. It's the same plan over and over and over. I can't say it anymore. I'm tired of saying it. And y'all probably tired of hearing me say it. But it's the same plan over and over. 9/11, the same plan. You got planes, you got thermite bringing it down. But there was something in the middle. There's a truth. And they have to keep you. You can't know the truth. Look at this hand. Look at this hand. Truth is in the middle.
So it looks like most people are agreeing. That's good. But he goes on to say, so when he says that Russ Dizdar died of rapid onset COVID, I was immediately like, oh gosh. Because how did they test him for it? If he died within 24 hours in his own home, first, how did they test for it? And then do we trust that test?
Why did they test for it?
Why did they test for it?
If he was dead, what they testing for?
Just like these people, I've known two people in my own personal life. I know them both. Not friends, didn't hang out, so I'm not telling you a sob story. One of them was a drug addict, dropped dead in his house, waiting to go to treatment. Guess what he died of? Don't even have to say it. Another guy, overweight, unhealthy lifestyle, truck driver, didn't smoke though, but he dies in his house. Guess what he died of?
Six-foot killer.
Yeah. And thank you for everybody for telling me who the interviewer guy is. Mike Adams, quote unquote, the health ranger I see. So,
I thought it was Linty Stills at one point.
Linty Stills, yes. One of your other made-up names besides Reverend. But anyway, after 17 minutes, I watched the whole thing, but after 17 minutes, I was like, he's not saying anything about why he thinks he was a hit. Well, he does. I'm sorry. He says why he thinks he was a hit because he's telling the truth about what this is. Well, so are a lot of people. And for a minute there, and I'll tell you the truth, for a minute there, I thought, could someone like you and me become a hit, Shawn? Are we going to be the next hit?
Well, I mean, you would think that if we could reach enough people and get enough people to believe, and not just believe, but to see. I don't want people to believe me. I want you to see the truth for what it is. And if we could get that, yeah. But because our voices are so quiet, the squeaky whale gets the grease.
And if he's a hit, see this little picture down here, this female, Dr. Carrie Madej, why hasn't she been hit with the rapid onset 24-hour killer?
Because she's saying some stuff too, supposedly.
Why didn't Judy Mikovits get hit with the killer? Why are any of these people even still alive if he was going to be a hit for the truth that he's telling? And he couldn't be more arrogant or narcissistic, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I don't disagree. We both know we don't agree with each other because there are things we disagree on. But when the truth is the truth, I believe the truth. And I can see this for myself. I don't need you to show me. And you don't need me to show you. We have discernment. And that's God-given. And we all can do that. But you can just watch this video and listen to what he's saying. And you can discern the truth.
he believes in the PCR and the antigen test, and he's telling people that Russ Dizdar died of rapid onset COVID. So,
and the 6-foot killer killed somebody, and somehow they knew without, and for some reason they tested him for it.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because we need to know what killed him in his house. It wasn't that he was old. It wasn't that he had other problems. It wasn't that, and by the way, this is no disrespect to anybody that died, because
Right.
I'm not saying anything about people that died. I'm talking about what did they die from?
Okay, let's bring it back to this. Before the 6-foot killer was even here, if this would have happened, would they have tested him for the 6-foot killer?
Of course not. Would they have tested him for H1N1 or influenza? No.
Right.
They wouldn't.
No.
We gotta do a quick nasal swab.
They would have just said he died from whatever, heart attack, old age, natural causes. But now they have an opportunity to control masses, so they say 6-foot killer, and they scare the bejesus out of everybody, and everybody's running around here with masks on and gloves and jumping 6 feet away from everybody and all kind of stuff. And they see that, and they have an opportunity to never let a good crisis go to waste. Well, sometimes the crisis is fake.
Somebody says, how did Rob Skiba die? I'm sure that he got this drug that you see on the screen right now. The real cause of death. I'm sure that he got that. And then that led to things that put him on a ventilator.
That is what my uncle had. And it led to other things, which led to pneumonia, which led to death. And then they said it was a 6-foot killer. Number two thing with my uncle, they tried to take my uncle away from he was living with my mom. My mom took him to the hospital when he got sick. And they wanted to move him to a hospital 60 miles away. They are isolating our loved ones so these things can be done. I had more than one friend. One of them was on Facebook, and I was good friends with her husband, and he died from this. They say her and her daughter could not go see her husband and her daughter's father. They couldn't go see him in the hospital. They weren't allowed to see him. How bad is that? Is that right? That you only let your family members come in to see you when you're sick? He wasn't dying yet, but they weren't allowed to see him. They were FaceTiming on little iPads and stuff like that. You need that human interaction. The same way babies, when they come out of the womb, they need to feel your fingers in their hand and you rubbing their head. That human interaction is what keeps people and gives them strength to survive. But when you don't have that, you have no more will to live. And then the things that they're doing to you while you're in there makes it worse.
Somebody says his wife was talking with Jessica from Crossing Over. I hope that wasn't Rob Skiba's wife. Because Crossing Over, isn't that somebody trying to talk to the dead? Anyway, let's get to this. This was a show that everybody probably did love. Everybody loves Raymond. And this particular episode, I think we found out was from 2005. Now, I'm not going to be able to play. I'm not getting...
Maybe next show we'll take the time to find that one spot and just play that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
But I mean,
salt.
there are. It is coming up pretty close. Like if you skip maybe it's like 10 minutes in, maybe or something like that, you'll hear them talking about him saying he doesn't have any more taste.
Yeah.
He can't taste anything.
And the big deal is we sat and listened to quite a bit of this ourselves yesterday. And the big deal about this is that he's eating all his wife's food and he's trying to add salt to it and telling everybody how bad it tastes. And his sons are trying to do a taste test on him and they say, no, everything tastes fine. Mom's food's fine. We better do some taste test. So they get him like wasabi, they get him Tabasco, they get him everything they can, and he can't taste any of it. In 2005.
He can't taste any of it.
So please.
Now the thing, let me set this up a little bit. The thing about it is Frank, that's the old dude's name, and Marie is his wife. Frank loves Marie's food. Before this episode, he loved her food. He could taste everything. It was the best food. Everybody in that family loved Marie's cooking. And you'll hear some of that if you go back. Just go watch the episode yourself if you want. There's the episode number and everything right on the screen. But he loved her food. And in this episode, for some reason, he couldn't taste it anymore. So like she said, they were giving him some of her food, and they put all different types of wasabi and Tabasco and all these hot things, hot sauces, to try to make him wake up his taste. And he ate it, and he still couldn't taste anything. So my question is, did he have the 6-foot killer because he couldn't taste nothing? Just because you can't taste anything or smell anything don't mean you have the 6-foot killer. Stop that. Stop it.
Yeah, stop. Because
Don't mean that.
Because Frank loses his taste in it. It's a whole episode based on it. So I dropped the link in the chat. And I'm glad to hear that just because YouTube is not about reaching the dead. Good to know. So my apologies. Don't anybody think that that's what she does, whoever she is. And don't worry about that. Just strike that from your memory that I ever said anything like that. Because crossing over kind of sounds like that. But anyway, yeah, this is the one thing we wanted to show you at the very end, to say that we've all been sicker. When you get more sick than you've ever been, then you're going to be more sick than you've ever been. That happens. And I've probably been the most sick I've ever been in 2009 from a sinus infection. And it made me dizzy, and I've talked about that. And that year I could have said, man, I've never had a sinus infection like that. It was horrible. But I didn't have anything to call it and go, oh, I better go get tested and, call it this and quarantine and do all these things. I was the most sick I'd ever been that year. That's all it was.
Let me ask y'all something. Think back to yourself. Have you ever said that before? Is this the first time in your life you've ever said, I've never been this sick before? Can you honestly say this is the first time you've ever said that?
And why? It's just like why women have more than one baby. Because they forget how bad it was when they had one. They forget how bad the pain was. Or they wouldn't have more than one. Because the outcome is so wonderful, too. I mean, it is true that the further away you get from it, you don't really think about how god-awful the pain was, and you'd be willing to have another one. It's the same thing. You don't remember how sick you were 10 years ago. You might have had something that felt like you were the sickest you've ever been, and you get sick this year, and suddenly it seems like it's the sickest you've ever been. And I know people getting sick. You know what? I'm walking around people all the time, just like you, and people just aren't getting sick. No one's getting sick at the same time, and if they are, it's the sniffles. It's a runny nose.
And over the summer, if this was real, we would have seen that all summer long. We're starting to see it now because this is the time of year when people start getting colds and stuff like that. But in the summertime, you don't get that. And all summer long, think about it. Everybody think. Everywhere you went, did you see people, hundreds of people, 10, 15 people walking around holding tissues and sneezing and having these 6-foot killer symptoms? Did you see that in the summertime? Did you see it? Why? We should have been. Because the 6-foot killer is dangerous. It's so dangerous we got to wear masks. It's so dangerous we have to have gloves and stand 6 feet away. Why didn't we see what they telling us? Come on, man. Stop it.
Anyway, as far as watching other YouTubers, I only watch a few other people. I'm very specific who I will watch and who I'll spend my time on, and it's a pretty small group of people. And so that's why I don't know anything about this person that has something called Crossing Over. I don't listen to Dr. Pigeon. I don't listen to Dr. Joy Pugh. I don't really listen to anyone that thinks they need to be called doctor, first of all, because that's not my name. My name isn't P.A. Moffat. My name is Erin, whether I'm practicing or I'm not. And I don't carry that on to, I don't think anybody needs to call me anything. But I prayed. When I first started doing this kind of research, I prayed for who I should listen to. I prayed that God would bring me people on YouTube or wherever that were the right people to listen to, and it's been a small handful of people ever since. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not willing to look at somebody's channel, but I'm telling you, people send me videos, and they don't tell me why they're sending it to me. They don't tell me what it's about, and I'm not going to watch it. If you're not going to spend the time to just explain why you sent me that video or what it's even about, I'm not going to watch it, because I get videos bombarded to me day in and day out. So it has nothing to do with that I don't want to watch your video. I just want to know why you want me to watch it, because I get too many people that are sending them out to everybody. I do know Zen Garcia because a friend introduced us, and I had Zen on my channel, and now he has me on his channel every 2 months. In fact, I won't be on there the regular Wednesday this month because my friend Shawn here is going to be in Montana visiting. but I will be on the week after that. So I guess he won the application process. Shawn, you did it.
I didn't know I put one in.
You didn't know it. But I could see it through your fruits, right? So that's another thing is we look at people's fruits, and that's how we determine if they're worth our time. And I prayed about that. So it really doesn't have anything to do with not being willing to listen to certain channels, unless I do hear it and then I say that's not what I want. But there's some people in my community I don't want to listen to. I'm good friends with Zen. I never listened to Rob Skiba. I hope nobody freaks out about that, but I didn't. I never listened to him. It just, not because I don't like the guy. I don't even know if I would have disagreed with anything he said. He's just not somebody I watched. He's just not. So that's all there is to it. The Lord brought me a handful of people, and that's basically where I stick. And new ones come and go sometimes. But anyway, just wanted to explain that.
And for the record, I now go by the name of Joan London.
And he's an author. A famous author. That's his new identity. So. All right. Well, luckily we're still under 2 hours. So do you have any final thoughts or anything else you want to say that we haven't said maybe, or as we close out, or maybe you want to close us out in a prayer since you're the wise reverend?
I think I'll just close us out in a prayer in the interest of keeping under 2 hours.
We appreciate that. So whenever you're ready.
All right, everybody, let's bow our heads so we can pray. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for waking us up this morning again and giving us another day to spend with each other, us, Erin and I, and everybody in the chat room. We appreciate you guys coming in. I thank you, Lord, for giving them the time and the ability to come and watch us. And I thank you for sending them to us so that they can watch us. And I thank you, Lord, for giving us the ability to bring them whatever shows and knowledge and information that we can. And we hope, Lord, that you bless this information and that is correct information that we believe that you've given us so that we can give out good information and not bad information. And at the same time, Lord, we ask that nobody looks at us as anything but just two people just doing things that they can do. I really stress that, Lord, and I thank you for giving us the strength to do what we do. But I also ask that you give them the strength to do the same things and a want to and a will to go out and investigate things for their own and not listen to what I say, what Erin says, or what anybody else says, but to find out the truth for themselves, Lord. I think that's important, and I know you do too, because your Son is the truth, the way and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by him, Lord. And I just thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. I thank you for bringing Erin into my life. As a friend, and since I passed the application process, Lord, it's even more. And I just thank you so much for bringing her and for her channel and for giving her the strength and the want to and will, of course, to sit up here in front of people, and the courage, because it takes a lot of courage and strength to sit up here in front of people and say the things that we say, and knowing we'll be ridiculed and laughed at and mocked at certain points, and not just by unbelievers, but also by some believers who don't think that the way we think. But I also ask you, Lord, that once again, that you give us the wisdom and the discernment to give good information. Thank you for your word, Lord. Thank you for the Bible, the holy word of God, that we are able to read and know what you're thinking and know what you want us to know and how to live our lives. Without that, Lord, we would have nothing. Once again, Lord, I thank you for everybody in the chat room. I hope that you will bless everybody out there, and hope you guys have a great day. And I hope that, Lord, that you're going to give them all whatever they need to succeed today. And just thank you, Lord, for everything. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Hallelujah.
All right, Reverend.
Okay. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you to the wise Reverend. Thank you to everyone who is here. And hit the like if you have not already. Feel free to share it if you feel like it's share worthy. If you don't like it, like Duke always says, share it with your enemies. We'll be happy to have them watch it too. So click on the link that's pinned at the top and join Odyssey, or at least try to follow the Odyssey. And here's my cat climbing up me. Kitty. It's OC. OC.
So, put him on the camera. There you go.
The original cat.
OC.
Because now we have a new kitten. But anyway, yeah, that's it. We appreciate it. We're going to close out with the song, and we'll see you guys, me and Shawn, probably on next Tuesday. I am going live with Airborne Saint tonight at 9 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. my time, which is really late for me, so I hope he appreciates that. But otherwise, I'll see you guys there, and we'll see you next time.
Amen. God bless y'all.
Shalom. Bye.
The following is a 10-point plan by Alice Bailey to destroy the Christian family structure and bring in the New World Order. Is it happening today? Point 1 of the 10-point plan of Alice Bailey is take God out of the schools and teach daily. No consequence for your actions. Evolution, survival of the fittest, Charles Darwin's pollution. 1962 Supreme Court ruling said the Bible was unconstitutional for schooling. Prayer to the one true God was taken out. Corrupt kids and program sheep without a doubt. Point 2 says diminish parental authority. Teachers in school should have superiority. The agents sent to indoctrinate our kids to accept the whole one world fate. They want a generation that's raised by the state. Mixed up morals and values they can't contemplate. It's similar to mind control and mind rape. No parents there to mold their minds to good shape. Point 3, destroy the Christian family structure. Take the father from the head of the house, put the mother in charge. Make it hard for the dad to find work. Make him feel like a helpless man with no worth. Break him down to the point that he is a beginner. Mom's off to work, now she is the only breadwinner. As she's lost her respect for her man, she can't hide the fact that her husband really can't provide. Point 4, make abortion legal and easy to get, and have sex with no regrets. People use it as a form of sex contraception. Terms like the word fetus, straight deception. All part of the man's diabolical plot to depopulate the whole earth a lot. The world rocks with the stench of death. Corrupt system that gives more rights to animals that are living. Point 5, forget being married for life. Get divorced easily from your husband or wife. Don't think twice, cheat, find your showmate. Live your life to the fullest, that's the way that it is. And do without will, that's the whole of the law. Party like it's the end of your life, and do it all. Go out, do your thing, leave your spouse at the crib, and forget about every bad thing that you did. Point 6 says, make homosexuality an alternative to living traditionally. Live immorally, incest, bestiality is okay as long as both parties agree. You can see from history, societies fall when man decides to uphold immoral laws. Unnatural affection, change complexion of America, going in the wrong direction. Point 7, debate start and make it run mad, ungodly. Could this be the case that they oddly? Movies and music filled with pornographic and violent images is way too drastic. Made to shape and mold minds like plastic. Power to reach out to every demographic, all to break down the morals that Jesus Christ has given us to live everyday life. Point 8 says, use the media to promote and change the mindset of everyday folks. It's no joke how they use the news, owned by a few rich men to distort our views. On cue, they use techniques to hypnotize and dissect. It's called the Hegelian dialect. Direct mind control, aimed at you, designed to make you think how they want you to. Point 9, the goal is to try to create the one real religion done through the inner faith in which Christianity will have no place. All praying to the same God is what they'll say. Tell us history, go with this, and all chant words with the Buddhists and Muslims, prayers that's never heard. Cause the gods they pray to, the statues and idols not alive like the true living God of the Bible. Point 10, get the government involved with this. Politicians make laws for this. Make it seem like it's good for the world and that everything's bliss. Make the people all fall for this. Get the church to endorse it. The plan of Alice Bailey you can see implemented into our lives daily. Through the court system, and the votes get overturned. Your vote don't really count, it's what you just learned. You think people be marching and will be concerned as our big constitution is steadily burned. Christianity, the family drowned in the water. Luciferian plans of the New World Order. New World Order.